Right Network. Mobilizing, capturing the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New Right Network. Tonight, your host, Brian Smith and
Kerry Smith,
giving you all the real news of the day, the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it all, exposing the fake news, and showing you what's real. Folks, today we got an explosive show. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday, and we've got an explosive show for you today. So for those of you who are new on the show, that just found the show, welcome, welcome, welcome. Crush the share, crush the follow. We usually try and follow back everybody that follows us as well.
Right.
Go to smith.tv. You'll find everything there, all the Patreon buttons, Donald Trump's live Twitter feed as you're on our website, so you won't miss a single tweet.
There's a feed for my Twitter.
Yes, and mine as well.
All right, awesome.
So you'll never miss a single tweet from any of us. And there's also a couple of 2019 calendars left and some apparel as well to help support the new media outlet, if you will, the new media drive. And according to General Flynn last night, we are the digital army.
Oh, cool.
Thank you, General Flynn. The digital army is on Wednesday, Cohen's testimony. And so in the past 24 to 36 hours, more evidence has come out. More things are coming out. The Trump administration, Don Jr., Donald Trump, everybody is just piling on this guy left and right with all kinds of facts and things from the past. And it's just out of control.
We'll be talking about that. You do not want to miss that.
Nope. James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, a lot of great things coming out that showing and exposing the big media texts that are out to get conservatives. CPAC is going on as we speak right now. Tom Fitton, you don't want to miss that. Dina Borelli, she's there as well from theblazetv.com. Do a real quick recap on North Korea summit.
New news that we got to go over, and
we're going to wrap up the show with Islam and diversity. Folks, this is out of control. I've got a couple of clips over in the UK where the UK is completely being overrun. Diversity is not anyone's strength. Diversity winds itself up into no diversity.
And how it bleeds into American politics. So we can see what's going on in UK, and it serves as a warning sign to us. And we will give you the details of how our own congressmen are a danger to national security.
As they played they attempted to play the race card during the Cohen hearing.
Right.
That'll be exciting. So as we start out and round up the beginning of the show, folks, this whole thing with Cohen is out of control. It is worse than anything we've ever seen, but the facts are coming out. And if you follow either Kerry or I on Twitter, and if you look down at the bottom of the screen, at Smith Radio for Kerry and at Brian P. Smith on Twitter, you will have seen, now the visual's not so good, but the audio is what you need to hear.
Right. And some people listen to us on audio only radio, Spreaker and iHeartRadio. So this is fine. This is fine.
So real quick, this is a video compilation that I put up on Twitter and I retweeted to every blue check person I knew, hoping to get some traction with it. And within 8 hours, almost hitting 7,000 views.
It's doing well.
So I'm pretty excited about that. And here's Michael Cohen in his own words, Flashback Friday.
Compassionate man. He's a man of great intellect, great intuition, and great abilities. Mr. Trump's memory is fantastic, and I've never come across a situation where Mr. Trump has said something that's not accurate. Mr. Trump truly cares about America. He loves this country. He's an amazing negotiator, maybe the best ever in the history of this world.
You guys are down, and it makes sense that there would polls. Most of them, all of them.
He's a smart man. He's a decisive man. He's a swift-acting individual. The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous, compassionate, principled, empathetic, kind, humble, honest, and genuine. He's not lying. He was protecting a friend. There's a difference.
What is the difference?
The difference is he was being a true friend. It didn't matter to him. He will ultimately, and I've said this so many times, he will ultimately go down in history as the greatest president.
Wow. That's interesting. You got to understand what I'm thinking about this. Michael Cohen is such a pathological liar. He's a sociopath, the kind of sociopath that when he's saying things, he's not really sure in his brain, in his subconscious, whether or not what he's saying is true. And therefore, and by the way, if you've ever met somebody like this, I'd be very surprised that at some point in your lifetime, you haven't discovered that somebody that you got to know pretty well was not a full-blown sociopath. I've had a few in my lifetime, and I've learned a lot from them. And I can tell you from experience that you just never truly are 100% sure what anything that they say is real or not. And there are moments in that clip where I'm saying, you can't make that up. You can't say things like what Michael Cohen is saying about Trump in the way that he's saying it and be not genuine and be lying about it then, and then all of a sudden be telling the truth now about how Donald Trump is all these bad things. However, when dealing with a sociopath, you just don't know anything that comes out of their mouth in any way. It could be very, very sincere sounding, and it be just totally made up out of thin air. So anything that he says, there's no merit to anything he says. Period.
Good, and that's what we're trying to expose here, folks. Fake news, good or bad, whatever comes out of Cohen's mouth, believe nothing.
Right. Yeah. And I would like to say, oh, he was telling the truth back when he was saying that Donald Trump was all this, that, and the other thing, and all good things, all positive things. But I got to be blatantly, brutally honest with you about my personal experiences.
Michael Cohen, Flashback Friday on CNN with Cuomo. Absolutely 100% would want to go to D.C. with Trump. He said under testimony that no, he never, ever campaigned or wanted to go to D.C.
Yes, I watched the whole thing. There's a lot of people in the news, I'm telling you, people, that did not watch that entire hearing for many reasons. Some of them have day jobs. Some of them were doing other things. There's CPAC this weekend. There's not very many people in the news that have sat through that thing. I sat through that whole thing, and I will tell you that there were things that he was saying that I thought, ooh, that could be harming. That could be harmful to Trump, the Trump campaign, commercials going forward into the 2020 campaign. Very worrisome. But
now,
gosh, now that you find out, because there were things that he said that you were like, okay, well, he said that, and I don't have any reason to disbelieve him. He had his hand up. He swore to God with his hand on the Bible that he would tell the whole truth. So then we have the truth come out.
Pastor D. Scott, he's looks like a former football player if you've ever seen him. He was the one when he was interviewed at the very beginning. Do you still support Donald Trump? And he just snapped. Of course I support Donald Trump.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that is him. He posted up on Twitter video clip of Cohen in church at the pulpit.
Okay.
Preaching the good word of Trump. Yeah, I'm surprised that brimstone and fire didn't come down upon him.
I guess. I tell you what, he's going to have to answer to somebody one day. He may get away with it because, remember, this is just a charade. Right. This isn't any kind of he did lie to Congress under oath, and so you would think that just like Bill Clinton being impeached for it, that there would be some consequences for Michael Cohen. But you got to realize he's not a real witness. He's a fake witness.
Fake witness.
The entire hearing was a complete charade. It was theater for the Democrats to be able to use into the campaign in the future. And it's very possible that they were just like, I don't want to be wasting Congress's time going after this guy. But like I said, going to answer for his blasphemy.
Thanks to Don Jr. and thanks to Twitter, unbeknownst to them, we've got more information coming out. Breaking news from the dailymail.co.uk. Don Jr. retweeted this article out. Michael Cohen pitched book claiming Trump was not a liar. Everything he wanted to say about Trump was positive. Added an executive involved. Even in our meeting, he was glowing with praise for the president. Fast flip to save his ASS after Dem coaching. Trump tweets out.
Wow, just revealed that Michael Cohen wrote a, quote, love letter to Trump. Manuscript for new book that he was pushing, I should say, written and submitting long after Charlottesville and Helsinki. His phony reasons for going rogue book is exact opposite of fake testimony, which now is a lie. So there's your perjury right there. It's ridiculous. I can't even believe
he said I do not have a book deal.
Yeah.
He literally said that.
And then he started backtracking a little bit, but not all the way. No. He did not correct that statement. All he did was just say, well, yeah, not that I know of. It's just unbelievable how careless he is. Now, there is the thing of him going to prison, and that's a done deal, right? It's a done deal. So is it possible that he's so stupid to think that, well, now that it's a done deal, that I'm going to get punished, I'm going to spend some time in prison, now I could just go all out? It's kind of like, hey, look, I'm going to prison for murder, so now I could just kill 10 more people.
Right.
I'm already going.
Right.
I'm already condemned. Let's just kill 10 more people.
Unless Lanny Davis, the Clinton lawyer, convinced Cohen that lying under perjury one time and going to prison for it clears you like double jeopardy for like O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Like if O.J. Simpson comes out today and says, yes, I did do it, he can't go to prison for it. But if he goes to Las Vegas and roughs some fools up, you will land back up in prison.
Yeah. It is amazing that somebody like a lawyer, an actual lawyer, would not be concerned with making a bad thing way worse.
Way worse.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
And so Donald Trump tweeted out again, Michael Cohen's book manuscript shows that he committed perjury on a scale not seen before.
Exactly.
He must have forgotten about his book when he testified. What does Hillary Clinton's lawyer, Lanny Davis, say about this one? Is he being paid by crooked Hillary? Using her lawyer? ?
Yeah, and I'll point out, too, that he also lied about not wanting the job at the White House. Some people say, well, that's kind of hard to prove. If you get enough people with a lot of credibility that was in the White House, all coming forward, putting their hand on the Bible, swearing to God to tell the truth, saying, yeah, he absolutely wanted that job. And by the way, there's also a clip that shows him on live TV saying how much he wants to work.
CNN. Yep. Yeah. He was on with CNN.
Even without that clip, there is reasonable, within reasonable doubt. He absolutely perjured himself. They could convict him on that alone, reasonable doubt. And I think that's it. There's multiple counts of perjury here.
If you want, Mr. Producer's pulled it up. It's 55 seconds.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Here's the 55-second video clip of.
He deserves it. Let's see what happens. Now, you just said something. If I go to Washington, we're trying to figure out who's going to go.
I haven't been asked.
You haven't been asked?
No.
How have you not? That can't be
don't know.
True. You would be the first person that he would want by his side.
Chris, well, I agree with that. I have not been asked. And
if
you know I don't lie.
You'd be on the political side, not the governmental side, right?
It would depend on the role that they're asking me to play. It has to be a role that I feel comfortable with.
Is there a chance
that he'll ask me to go to Washington?
Oh, there's absolutely a chance he's going to ask you to go.
I certainly
would
hope
you
so.
go?
100%.
He said he wants to.
And he said, I want to 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more you need. You don't even need testimony from anybody else. So clearly he perjured himself. I don't think that there should be any question in anybody's mind about how much of an incredible liar he is. He lied before. And it's funny. You got people like Jim Jordan who go out there and try to preempt the entire hearing by pointing out that Congress should not, and has not in the past very often, not that he could remember, bring forth a person to testify in front of Congress that had previously been convicted of perjury for lying to Congress. But he didn't even need to do that. He perjured the hell out of himself the whole time he was up there.
Well, and he also said, this being your star witness, that has never happened. A star witness as a convicted felon going to prison, perjurer.
And all that was unnecessary because he perjured himself at the very hearing. He could have come into that hearing, Boy Scout, with everybody thinking that this is the most credible person that has ever been put on this earth. And his testimony at that second hearing discredited himself totally.
100%.
Completely.
Lindsey Graham tweeted out and Jim Jordan retweeted out about the DOJ and possible perjury charges. And now we have Sarah Palin USA, at Sarah Palin USA. She has her own website where she documents news and articles, things like that. And the headline for her article is, "Breaking: House Republicans want to charge Cohen for lying to Congress." 2 Republicans right now are looking into forwarding and recommending him to the DOJ.
For charges for perjury. And that's how it works. And, you know, why wouldn't you do it? It's pretty clear. It'd be a very quick hearing. You know, it's like, okay, here's the evidence. I find you guilty. You're going to tack on another 10 years onto your sentence or whatever. Oh, my goodness.
And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Jim Jordan was trending. I don't know if he was trending for 2 days, but he's trending for at least 1 day. And somebody asked me why. I said, because he's a superstar.
Oh, because he owned that hearing. Now, Cummings obviously was in charge and he was, you know, doing his thing and doing it well. But Jim Jordan just stole the show.
Right, absolutely. And this is just a real quick clip, just a little flashback Friday, if you will, real quick clip of Jim Jordan exposing the Democrat Party while questioning Cohen.
I got 8 seconds. What did you talk to Mr. Schiff about?
I spoke to Mr. Schiff about topics that were going to be raised at the upcoming hearing.
Whoa. Not just what time to show up, actually what you're going to talk about?
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and also Jim Jordan, that was one of a million. Yeah. I remember the one where he said that Cohen was telling him that he got everything that he wanted out of working for the Trump administration.
Oh, that's right.
And he said, you got everything you wanted? You're going to prison for perjury.
Yes.
So
is that what you wanted? You want to go to prison?
Apparently he does because he wants to add to it by all the lying that he's done under oath since then. And so, yeah, he wants to spend as much time as humanly possible in prison, and that has been demonstrated.
Unbelievable, folks, unbelievable. And now we got some good news coming out, good news, positive things with Donald Trump. It's at Chat by CC.
Okay.
So Chat by CC, she tweeted out, President Trump faces this fierce battle head on every single day. If you have grown tired and weary of the long haul, you must not have really been in it at all. As for me, I'm in it to win it with President Donald J. Trump. America is worth it. Folks, you've got to follow these folks that we tell you to follow at Chat by CC. You must follow these people because these are the ones that are putting out real information, good stuff.
They're making the right connections that really tell the story of what's really going on in politics. So if you're just kind of glancing at it, you know, you're doing your 40-hour week, you can't spend too much time paying attention to politics. These are the kind of people that are really giving you the correct, true story. We call that real news.
Absolutely. And then follow, without a doubt, at GOP, Ronna McDaniel. She tweeted out, a new leadership by Richard Waters, Paris Denard. He's the conservative man that usually shows up on CNN and destroys the whole panel.
Oh, yeah.
He is so awesome.
Yeah.
So Paris Denard tweeted out, the GOP chairwoman made several key senior staff appointment announcements today, including promoting Tina Jackson to GOP chief operating officer for the 2020 presidential cycle after serving as chief human resources officer for the 2018 midterm cycle. Well, I'm just saying all the people, I mean, the head of the GOP, Ronna McDaniel, who at first glance I was worried because it's the niece of Mitt Romney.
Oh, yeah, that's problematic.
Was very worried.
Very
However, she's called her uncle out, and she's put him in his place, and she has been all in for Donald Trump. I have not seen her waver one iota of wavering from her, and I really, really believe in my heart of hearts that we are taking over the GOP, taking the RNC back, and really flipping this party and getting rid of the rhinos.
I really hope so, because that's kind of what we're doing, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we're attempting to infiltrate the GOP, getting it more towards a pragmatic, conservative, constitutional, libertarian way, which I think it was originally founded. I mean, does anybody doubt the man who freed the slaves anything other than libertarian?
Right.
And this is the founder of the Republican Party. How we all of a sudden turned into what we see CPAC turn into is obviously something that we want to erase and fix, right?
Right, absolutely. And just real quick, at C3, well, it's C3 at CP3C_3.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it.
What part of Trump's presidency should he be impeached over?
Okay.
Tax cuts?
No.
Dow Jones 26K?
No.
GDP 3%?
I would say no.
3.9% unemployment?
Definitely no.
U.S. energy dominance?
Nope.
End of North Korea missile testing?
Nope.
Consumer confidence 17-year high?
That's okay.
Jobless claims lowest since 1969?
No.
Record low Black, Hispanic, and female unemployment?
No.
Hashtag resist.
Yeah, what are they resisting here? And what are we impeaching over? Now, they'll probably say, now he colluded with Russia. Even your star witness, Michael Cohen, can't lie well enough to say anything other than there is no evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia. No evidence whatsoever. So there you go.
Right. And I don't know if you remember this. I've had this clip on my desktop since I first found it all the way back in February 2018. So a year ago. I want you guys to remember that. Just listen real quick. This is Rod Rosenstein over a year ago.
Now, there is no allegation in this indictment that any American was a knowing participant in this illegal activity. There is no allegation in the indictment that the charged conduct altered the outcome of the 2016 election.
Rod Rosenstein says it right there. And so nothing has changed. Nothing has ever changed. I have no idea why people are still falling for this narrative. If you know anybody who is anti-Trump, see if you can get them to give you their opinion on this conspiracy theory of Trump-Russia collusion, and point out that not only does their star witness say that there's no Trump-Russia collusion, but a year ago they already knew this because Rod Rosenstein came forward and stated there's no collusion whatsoever between anybody in the Trump administration and Russia.
And if you say, Brian, Kerry, we're not believing Cohen because he's a liar beyond belief. He flips back and forth, back and forth. Why should we believe Rod Rosenstein? There's evidence to back up Rod Rosenstein. Plenty of evidence.
Not only that, but look at motive. If Cohen is going to say whatever he wants to say, regardless of whether or not it's true, why would he say that there's no evidence for Trump-Russia collusion? If you're going to say what you want to say and you're Michael Cohen, you would say they absolutely colluded. They totally got together. They're totally in bed together. Donald Trump is completely compromised. Every single thing that he does, every decision that he makes is based on the fact that he has to avoid the blackmail, the expose that Putin has on him. This is what they're thinking. Democrats literally think this. They want to impeach Trump because they think that he's not really being a president for the people. He's acting as leader of us under the direction of a man that's blackmailing him from another country.
Right, absolutely. And
it's not true.
Today, Friday, Flashback Friday, hashtag walk away. Donald Trump walked away from North Korea. Whoever's with the DNC, you guys need to walk away. At U.S. Minority, our good friend Brandon Straka, thank you so much for everything that you do. We're running for political office, moving the ball forward and really, really taking the narrative back. I've been seeing so many new faces on the hashtag walkaway movement, and I'm thoroughly excited.
It's getting bigger.
About 2020, and I'm excited about the awakening, if you will. And if Brandon hadn't have done what he did, I have no idea.
It's a start, and I think that it'll continue to grow, and I think it's an important start. This is the kind of organization that the right has lacked for so long. We almost had it at the Tea Party, but it just – people were not experienced enough to hold strong when they were under fire, and now you have people who have come from the Democrat Party, like Brandon Straka and a bunch of others that we're really close friends with, that they know better.
Right.
They know what the tactics are.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we're fighting is censorship by big tech. We talked about that yesterday with Michelle Malkin. Apparently that tweet that she tweeted out is a picture of caricatures of Muhammad. That was from 2015.
You mean that wasn't a recent thing?
No, I found out after the show that was a 2015 posting.
So a little correction for the show from yesterday.
Well, I didn't know when it was posted.
I didn't know either.
Right.
That was news to me.
Right.
Okay.
2015. So they dipped back into the archives.
This is breaking news here. You're saying that Twitter is post facto doing new terms of service and after the fact, applying them to behaviors and decisions and posts and whatever made by people in the past.
We did a show on Facebook 3 years ago that we posted on Facebook 3 years ago, a show that I was told by Facebook when I logged in, it must be removed because it violates terms of services.
Even though it didn't at the time.
3 years ago.
There is no such thing as grandfathering in when it comes to social media. And that's really important to them. They have full control. They have full dictatorial control over everybody by making up rules as they go. I mean, can you imagine how unjust it would be if when prohibition went into effect, they rounded up all the people that have evidence that they've ever drank in their life?
Yeah, everybody's going to jail.
Oh, we know that you drank. We have pictures of you at this bar, even though they just enacted prohibition, 1920. We have pictures of you drinking at a bar in 1917. Therefore, you're going to prison.
Going to prison. So Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, a good friend of the show. James has now uncovered some things with Facebook.
This Facebook insider contacted us some time ago and provided us with what she says are internal Facebook documents.
I saw things going on that I personally found to be troubling. I knew that something had to be done about it, and so I felt that the best thing to do was to inform the public.
This is Danny Ben David, a software engineer. In the leaked documents our insider gave us, we came across a back-end view of Mike Cernovich's page. On it, we could see Ben David running an action called Action Deboost Live Distribution. In fact, Ben David wrote the code and may have invented the word deboost. Deboosting is a method of suppressing distribution. This occurs because prompts such as share this video are disabled. Interactive notifications are also disabled. And the live feed boost is removed. Where did you see this appear? On whose pages?
I would see it appear on several different conservative pages. I first noticed it with an account that I can't remember, but I remember once I started looking at it, I also saw it on Mike Cernovich's page, saw it on Steven Crowder's page, as well as the Daily Caller's page.
We spoke to Steven Crowder about this, and he was disappointed but not surprised. He told us that this is not the first time Facebook has targeted him.
I came across a document called Coordinated Trolling on Facebook, and it was this troll report where they wanted to address the problem of trolls on the platform and what they could do to combat it.
Seiji Yamamoto and Eduardo Arino de la Rubia are the authors of that troll report.
It was clearly kind of designed at the aim to be the right-wing meme culture that's become extremely prevalent in the past few years.
In Yamamoto's troll presentation deck, he writes that they have a classifier that predicts if a user is a troll. The term troll refers to an internet troublemaker. Listing flagged words such as cuck, normie, it's clear that Facebook is targeting the language of the right.
Wait a minute,
and using
IRL?
it to actively suppress their content.
Chatelet.
IRL means in real life. How is that trolling? Or LULZ?
I don't even.
There are high school girls who do the lulls all the time.
Oh.
But I do see trolls saying that too. But that's not. I know some vicious trolls out there. I've been the victim of some trolling. I've done some trolling. Lulls is not trolling at all.
No.
That's kind of like a subdued form of laughing at something. You wouldn't say lulls at somebody to troll them. That would be like saying something that somebody posted as far as a meme or something like that. It's kind of funny, but not the person that actually it wouldn't be the meme. So I don't know. So this video, great job by James O'Keefe of Project Veritas. For those of you that don't know how this works, algorithms are these little programs, these short little programs that process the information. And the information is you putting posts up, okay? And your posts are your communication to the world or interacting with other conservatives, spreading the message. So as we do this video, somebody would share it. How would you share it? Because you found out about it, right? You find out about our video, you share it, boom, it gets spread. These little algorithms process those actions. And if they say, well, you know, we determined Carrie and Brian to be trolls, we're going to do this action deboost on them. And that is the algorithm that will maybe you won't ever see our video. Or if you do see our video, the way you can interact with it is going to be diminished. And so this is what we're dealing with, folks. And it doesn't matter. Should we go to a different platform where not any of our government's on? Our government's totally on Twitter. I'm not sure so much about Facebook, but Twitter does it at least as bad, if not worse than Twitter. And that's where our entire government is. Right. And they're going to use these algorithms to alter our election.
They've been doing that to us on Facebook for years and years and years and years. Also on Twitter for years and years and years. Shadow banning our tweets. I'll have one tweet that goes through the roof, and then I'll have one that's really good article. It'll be up there for days. Not a single like, not a single retweet. It's just unbelievable, the inconsistencies. And even continuing to this day on Facebook, if I attempt to share a video to a group, it pops up on my screen. It says you are forbidden to do this action.
Right. And on Twitter, I noticed how things grow and how things slow down and grow and slow down. And there's like this, you know, things that happen depending on what you want to talk about, what you're interested in, your contribution to it. Well, check this out. Out of nowhere, for no reason, without any rhyme or reason to anything I'm talking about or any of the subjects that are brought up, my entire account plateaus and it goes on for months and months and months. This is so blatantly obvious.
Right. Hit 16,000 followers in a pretty quick span of time. And then say maybe 6 months to get to 16,000 followers.
Yep.
And then from 16 to now I'm almost at 21. Has taken well over a year and a half.
I've been stuck at about 24,500 to 25,000 for about a year now.
A long time.
Totally, completely stopped growth. The first time I noticed it was about 1,000, like just under 1,000. I could not get over that hump of the 4 digits, the 1,000. The second time was between 6,000 and 7,000. It took me many, 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 many months to just inch over that 7,000. It was, oh my gosh, so much labor was put into trying to get over 7,000. It was clear we were shadow banned.
Not only that, but when you gain 150 followers, you're going to lose 75. You gain 500, you're going to lose 250. And now, breaking news last night.
Growing.
Right. Breaking news last night, there's an app called Crowdfire that you can use, or you could use, to maintain your account, see how many followers are coming in, how many you're losing, maintain your account. Crowdfire has now been blocked by Twitter. So if you use Crowdfire at $9.99 a month, go to your subscription and unsubscribe because they're still taking your money and not providing you a service.
Yeah, so that's bad on them. But more importantly, The way that they had banned Crowdfire, I thought was so unprofessional. I feel like Twitter is being run by a bunch of children who have no experience in the real world, business world, no professionalism whatsoever. They didn't attempt to talk to them about making any changes, and they just flat out suspended them after the fact. They told them that they are now in violation of new terms and service, and because you've been doing what we now deem to be illegal,
you're out.
You're out.
Yeah.
Instead of going to them and saying, "Hey, we're changing our TOS a little bit here. That will put you guys on the wrong side of the law, our rules. Can you do something? Let's talk about it." Nope. They were just banned for life without any hope of redemption.
Right. No, absolutely. And as we talk about us getting together as a group, as a unit, digital army, if you will, CPAC is going on, and we both have mixed feelings on CPAC as it used to be in the past. Maybe it's making a change for the better. I'm
sure it is a little.
Yeah, I feel like there are speakers now that are pro-Trump, America First, MAGA speakers.
Yeah.
Like Dina Borelli. She's an incredible woman, a very great speaker. She works for theblaze.com, host of conservativereview.com, Fox News contributor, author of Blacklash. Always been proud of my country. Retweets, endorsements are her own. DinaBorelli.com. Very good, solid woman. It's just incredible to have these great minds, as well as Tom Fitton. Tom Fitton is a huge supporter of the Constitution, a huge supporter of rule of law.
He's got great tweets. Definitely check in on him all the time and retweet him whenever I can because he's got good stuff. So follow both Dina Borelli and Tom Fitton. And you're saying they are making the changes of CPAC. You think they're having an influence?
They're well, not new voices, but they're the right voices that need to be at CPAC, as well as the NRA being at CPAC, continue again and again and again to be there.
So maybe it's getting better. Maybe it's getting better. The thing is that in the past, it was like these people hated Trump so much that they are going to do whatever they can to undermine him. They welcomed Pence because they were like, man, if only we could have a President Pence. And that's why Trump actually chose him, because he's very liked by the old guard establishment Republicans. But the whole thing was being run from the ground up, from the top down, actually, by total establishment conservatives that hate Trump. But as we've seen with like people that supported Cruz during the campaign, during the primaries, who hated Trump, a lot of those guys have come around because he really is the president that we all told them he would be. And we're thinking that the CPAC people are starting to come around too. So there's like this combination of true Trump supporters taking over and old anti or never Trumpers starting to finally come around. So maybe it's getting better.
Very possible. At Tom, Fittion. Forget about Cohen. Obama and Clinton need finally to be questioned about their collusion, their shady little dossier, etc. Targeting real Donald Trump. Great speech, subjectively speaking, at CPAC last year. I will be there tomorrow morning with Devin Nunes and Byron York.
Awesome.
So that's incredible. With that being said, just a little recap, if you will, on North Korean summit.
New news today. Otto Warmbier, the man who died because of being under the custody of North Korea and the way that apparently abused him. North Koreans say that he just had a stroke.
Right.
Why would a young person
in a coma, all kinds of dehydration, malnutrition,
this kind of stuff. So obviously mistreated. We're not in dispute of that. We're not disputing that he was mistreated. The parents came out today angry that Trump seemingly forgave Kim Jong-un because and believed him when he said, I never knew that he was being mistreated. I didn't know what was going on. And if I had known, this stuff wouldn't have happened. And what did we say yesterday? We said yesterday that I believe him because we're dealing with somebody very different from his father, who would have been the person who put all of the people that were in charge of the prison system and whatnot in North Korea. These people would be ruthless people. And here's this young 26-year-old
I'm not buying it. How does Kim Jong-un go find Otto Warmbier and say torture him?
Yeah,
or even know about it. I'm sorry.
I believe him initially, but even if he's sugarcoating that, number one, we're trying to have peace in East Asia there. All right, we're trying to get peace there. If something were to happen to my daughter, I have one child. Obviously, I'd be devastated for life, but I would be searching somewhere, everywhere, up above into the heavens for a way to have the strength to forgive for things that happen on earth. Nobody's perfect. I think it's tough for me to get aside with the parents to put the sole blame on Kim Jong-un, who's just the son of somebody who created a monstrosity of a horrible country. And I think he's looking for a way out of this communist oppressive, and it's going to be tough. It's not easy. Look at Donald Trump. He's got this deep state he's dealing with. We can't just climb out of what the establishment has done to our country and our constitution and our government for many, many decades simply by electing one man. He's got to deal with this anti-Trump deep state that's trying to do a coup. I'm sure Kim Jong-un is dealing with the same thing.
His has got to be worse.
And much worse. And lastly, I have to condemn the Democrats in the mainstream media and anybody else who have given the parents the platform to say this particular thing at this particular time. Sure, let them speak out, let them have their platform at some point, but man, they should have took them to the side room and say, listen, we got sensitive negotiations going on here. We think that peace is going to be made, is going to have headway here. And also, didn't Donald Trump himself tell the parents that I think that your son did not die in vain? I think that the death of your son could be ushering in
I promise you
the change that we need.
Right, absolutely. And I promise you, mainstream media sought out Otto Warmbier's parents.
Yeah. And so what do you think? What do you think? Oh, I guarantee you.
Yes.
I guarantee you. What do you think about him throwing your son under the bus like that and embracing
How does that feel?
Your son's killer?
How does that feel that your son's dead by like that?
They probably ran right up to him and said, your son's killer is being praised by Donald Trump. I guarantee you. And so the whole thing is just a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. Donald Trump moving forward, Sarah Huckabee Sanders at Press Sec. President Obama refused to walk away from a bad deal with Iran. President Donald Trump refuses to make the same mistake with Iran, North Korea, or anybody else. President Trump will always put safety of American people above politics. And again, those naysayers that say Trump doesn't love the military.
Nobody's believing that.
Donald Trump, photo op, if you will, stopped off, said, they're fueling up Air Force One. I'm sitting here with nothing to do. And I'm like, hey, why don't I put on the tie and the suit and get out and hang out with you all?
Do some high-fiving.
What's going on?
Get some selfies, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So anyways, Donald Trump, very thankful for the service of our men and women. And lastly, probably the biggest topic that's going on right now around the world that has been suppressed and been so sidelined by mainstream media, Islam and diversity.
Okay.
So Islam claims to be the party of peace, and the Democrats scream, we need more diversity.
Okay.
More diversity in any country has brought more violence, cultural clashes back and forth.
It's kind of an overall unhappiness, I think. And we're not segregationist. It's just that you should be at peace with letting people do what they want to do. I think one of the things in our Declaration of Independence is that we have the right to pursue happiness. And it's not bigoted to say that, well, I think you're a racist for being more happy with people of your own culture at all times. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And of course, the racists in the Democrat Party, which is basically most of them, think that the lack of diversity means that you don't want to be around people with a different skin tone. That's not it. I mean, I don't like hanging around with Democrats who have the exact same skin color. The exact same skin color. So it's a cultural thing. People like to be around people that they can relate with.
What did the American government do during the early 1900s for about 60 years as far as immigration and diversity?
Yeah, as far as I have heard, it's been shut down for like 60 years.
Nobody
even knew.
Right, in order for assimilation.
Right.
So that other cultures coming to America can assimilate.
Right.
And so the Democrats take that out of control.
When the Democrats want to do forced diversity, forced integration, and what is that? That's coercion. That is tyranny. It is oppression. It's forcing people to do things for no reason other than to bother them. If I wanted to hang out with certain people that are a certain way, that just happen to all or mostly be of, let's say, a certain skin color, that does not mean that if I go to a different culture or a different skin color person or something like that all of a sudden I hate that person. I wish they were dead. I want to genocide them. No, none of that. None of that at all. And I also condemn, if you want to flip it to the other side, because I'm sure there'll be people that want to do this, I highly condemned forced segregation,
absolutely,
which would be what the white nationalists want. The white nationalists want a nation that's set aside specifically for exclusively for white people. We highly, highly condemn that as well. Any kind of government forcing of free individuals to do anything, we are highly against.
100%. And at Ariel Saavedra, anti-Semitic Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, pushes a conspiracy theory about her Jewish colleagues, says they have designed a plan to accuse her of being anti-Semitic to end the debate on Israel.
I think I see what she did there, and I gotta give her props for being creative. But there's a difference between just saying that you're anti-Semitic and concluding that somebody may actually be anti-Semitic based on the facts that are presented to them. And I don't think she's made that. She has not made that case yet.
No, and her tweets in the past have been so brutal. Yeah. Even the tweet that she tweeted out after the 9/11 in Benghazi, tweeting out with it very couple days later, Allahu Akbar, hashtag happy days of sorts. What?
So if you're praising Islamic terror or you're supporting it or you're whatever, that's obviously going to be taken very adversarial by anybody who is Jewish.
Right.
Period.
100%.
So they're not just killing Christians, they're killing Jews. And I would argue, I think that history will show that there is more of a design by Islamic extremists or terrorists or whatever you want to call them to eliminate Jews in Israel than Christians around the world. So yes, it's something that she needs to be a little bit more cognizant of. And that's not the only example. There are plenty of examples of her saying things that would lead one to question whether she's not just flat out anti-Semitic, not just questioning whether or not we should be supporting Israel or not.
Right.
Which I'm okay with. If you want to question support of Israel, let's have that debate. But be careful about not wanting to support Israel because there's Jews there.
Right. That is absolutely the wrong idea.
Yeah.
And at Amy Meck, M-E-K, a great one to follow. She's got a lot of great tweets. She's on Donald Trump's radar for sure. And she tweeted out, Democrat Party darlings, Representative Ilhan Omar and Representative Rashida are now claiming their Jewish colleagues are fabricating anti-Semitic accusations to end the debate on Israel. Yet both of these women and Hamas-linked CARE claim any criticisms of them is Islamophobic.
So Amy Meck there, great person to follow. I highly recommend it. We've actually been following her for years. She was a huge influence in the Trump campaign in 2015 to 2016. She's pointing out a glaring hypocrisy here, and I love it. That was perfectly stated.
She also posted up a couple of different videos. I'm not sure where she had gotten them from, but there was a video of an imam or a Muslim individual standing in a town square in Germany with a megaphone preaching intimidation and informing all Germans that we're here, we're going to take over. This is our land. We're here to stay, and just kept going on and on and on. I had the link to the video for the show. I got the link late last night. I had it for the show today. Go to the link today on Twitter, and this page no longer exists. Carrie.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. So it was something that you may have been able to download, but you didn't think it would be taken down so quick.
I didn't think it'd be taken down so quick. Yep, absolutely.
Very scary. So we are living in 1984, folks, where you are going to be punished for wrong speak, and you got to be careful of that.
Right. No, absolutely. 100%. It's extremely frustrating when we get these links to videos, or somebody sends me something and then it disappears. However, I did get this one. This link is from Birmingham, UK. And I know I'm talking about another country, but I'm talking about what Islam is doing.
Yeah, you got to be aware of this so that when you start to see little tidbits of it in America, you should be raising the alarm.
Okay, this was posted by David Vance at DVATW. Alt New Media Watch. This is a Sudanese making azan, the Muslim call to prayer, in a church bought for 450,000 lira in Birmingham, UK. They say they will convert it into the biggest mosque in the UK. We have fallen, folks. Our Christian heritage taken apart in front of our eyes.
Well, and you know, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And say, okay, so why was the church for sale? I mean, are people not going to church anymore? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Human beings are spiritual beings. We are going to atheists is a good example. Atheists are like, I mean, no belief in God. We don't, none of that. You know, that's the way they are. I know because I'm a converted from atheism to Christianity. And so I know exactly what's going through the heads of atheists. What you need to know is that they are religious. All right. Atheists are religious. They just don't realize it. They don't understand what they're feeling when they believe things that are totally unsubstantiated, like some of the crazy stuff that you see in science books that are absolutely made up, not substantiated, could be pushing an agenda of leftism, Marxism, whatever. My point is that what's going on with Christianity that a giant church like this has to be sold? Where are the parishioners? What happened to the priests? Why are they not going there on Sunday and tithing to keep this thing going?
And I hate to say this in a sense that I could get in a little bit of trouble, but I honestly believe that Islam should not be allowed to spread their propaganda. I don't believe that this should be allowed in America because their ideologies and their cultures clash 100% different than American ideologies and American cultures.
You will get in trouble for that.
Their ideologies are the opposite of our Constitution and Declaration of Independence. They have been shot down in big time courts, like in Dearborn, Michigan, where the local courts started using Sharia law in court to cite what a man did is okay.
Yeah.
And that's risen through the courts, and other judges have had to rule that out.
Sharia judges is scary. Now, if you have an entire city council, whatever, taken over by, let's say, nothing but Muslims who are like fundamentalists, they go strictly by the book. They're going to implement all kinds of Sharia law. You would say, I don't have to go along with your unconstitutional laws. They arrest you or whatever, charge you, give you a court date, you show up. And a good constitutional judge should say, yeah, that does not comport with the Constitution and your rights. Therefore, we're going to dismiss this case, and that's fine. If you were to appear in front of a Sharia judge, a judge that was appointed in your local place, you might have to get your arms chopped off, or you might have to be executed. I don't know. Depends on what the good book says.
Right. And Amy Meek also points out. Amy Meck also points out UPS suspends deliveries in Sweden, no-go zone, citing attacks on drivers. Sweden has been under siege for years. 2017 I reported, ambulance personnel want gas masks and bulletproof vests to protect their staff against jihadi refugees, no-go zones.
Yeah. A no-go zone means you could put whatever border that is, whatever your no-go zone is, you have ceded that to some foreign entity. Not necessarily a country, just it's no longer your country.
Right.
Our no-go zones in the Southwest are no longer part of America. We have ceded that to Mexico, as far as we're concerned. It may not be official.
Back to the Democrat Party. For the 15th year in a row, Keith Ellison Muhammad co-hosted Muslim Day at the Capitol in Minnesota. Why is Ellison and U.S. representatives taking part in an event co-hosted by an organization that was founded by members of Muslim brotherhoods who advocate for Sharia law?
Let me help out a little bit on that. The language there, she could have just said, listen, why are we having elected officials embracing a religion? Because there is the separation of church and state with regard to establishing a religion. I think that a lot of precedent has been set where people, congressmen, elected officials are not to, partake in things that are supporting Christian things. So why is it that they're able to do this for Muslim things? I think that should be put a stop to, if it's going to be put a stop to for Christians.
Right, absolutely. And the reason why I go back to this, elected officials, we were talking about
Representative Tlaib. We have the video.
Just to make a note, Mr. Chairman, just because someone has a person of color, a black person working for them, does not mean they aren't racist. And it is insensitive that someone even say it's the fact that someone would actually use a prop, a black woman in this chamber, in this committee, is alone racist in itself. Donald Trump is setting a precedent.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that her words be taken down.
President, I reclaim my time.
Mr. Chairman,
setting a precedent.
Mr. Chairman,
the highest office can be attained.
Mr. Chairman, the rules are clear. Mr. Chairman, I ask that her words, when she's referring to an individual member of this body, be taken down and stricken from the record. I'm sure she didn't intend to do this, but if anyone knows my record as it relates, it should be you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, I would like to...
Hold on.
I want the words read back.
No.
We want to know exactly what she said about a colleague.
Excuse me. Would you like to rephrase that statement, Ms. Tlaib?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can actually read it. Just to make a note, Mr. Chairman, that just because someone has a person of color, a black person working for them, does not mean they are racist. And it is insensitive that someone would even say racist, say it is racist in itself, and to use a black woman as a prop to prove it otherwise. And I can submit this for the record. If a colleague is thinking that that's what I'm saying, I'm just saying that's what I believe to have happened. And if, as a person of color in this committee, that's how I felt at that moment, and I wanted to express that. But I am not calling the gentleman, Mr. Meadows, a racist for doing so. I'm saying that in itself, it is a racist act.
Well, I hope not, Mr. Chairman, because I need to be clear on this particular. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Meadows, wait a minute.
I've defended you
Mr. Meadows,
with false accusations.
Mr. Meadows, I'm the chair.
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you. Right. I will clear this up. Now, Ms. Tlaib, I want to make sure I understand. You were not intending to call Mr. Meadows a racist, is that right?
No, Mr. Chairman, I do not call Mr. Meadows a racist.
No.
I am trying, as a person of color, Mr. Chairman, just to express myself and how I felt at that moment. Mm-hmm. And so, just for the record, that's what was my intention.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Chairman, there's nothing more personal to me than my relationship. My nieces and nephews are people of color. Not many people know that. You know that, Mr. Chairman. And to indicate that I asked someone who is a personal friend of the Trump family, who has worked for him, who knows this particular individual, that she's coming in to be a prop, it's racist to suggest that I asked her to come in here for that reason. Mr. President, the president's own person. She's a family member. She loves this family. She came in because she felt like the president of the United States was getting falsely accused. And Mr. Chairman, you and I have a personal relationship that's not based on color. And to even go down this direction is wrong, Mr. Chairman.
First of all, I want to thank the gentleman for what you have stated. If there's anyone who is sensitive with regard to race, it's me. Son of former sharecroppers that were basically slaves. So I get it. I listened very carefully to Ms. Tlaib, and I think, and I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but I think she said that she was not calling you a racist. And I thought that we could clarify that. Because you, Mr. Meadows, you know, and of all the people on this committee, I've said it and got in trouble for it, that you're one of my best friends. I know that shocks a lot of people.
And likewise, Mr. Chairman.
But you are. And I could see and feel your pain. I feel it. And so, and I don't think Ms. Tlaib intended to cause you that kind of pain and that kind of frustration. Did you have a statement, Ms. Tlaib? I'm going to yield to you.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to my colleague, Mr. Meadows, that was not my intention, and I do apologize if that's what it sounded like, but I said someone in general. And as everybody knows in this chamber, I'm pretty direct, so if I wanted to say that, I would have, but that's not what I said. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to clarify. But again, I said someone. And again, I was not referring to you at all as a racist.
Well, I thank the gentlewoman for her comments. I thank the chairman for working to clarify this. And I appreciate the chairman's intervention.
All right.
So Mark Meadows.
Wow.
Accused of racism on the House floor. This is a stunning moment in American history. I do believe it's going to go down as something that I hope if justice is to prevail, if the Constitution is to prevail, this is going to go down as a major historic event. Do you remember the Red Scare? There was actually two of them. I didn't know that until I was doing research a couple of years ago. There were actually two Red Scares. The Red Scare that we know of as McCarthyism was actually the Red Scare 2. So the second Red Scare. The first one was right when the Russian Revolution happened.
Oh, right after World War I.
In 1917, when they had when it became the Soviet Union.
Right, they installed Stalin.
There was Lenin.
Lenin. Sorry.
So when Lenin became the first premier of the Soviet Union and that all happened, there was fear in America that communism was coming their way. So there was a Red Scare. Second Red Scare was McCarthyism. And there's people out there, I think Vox is one of them, that are saying, oh, well, what you don't know is that McCarthyism was all fake. There were no communists to see here. Nothing to see here, folks.
None today either.
Nothing. There's no communists anywhere. That's a lie. McCarthyism was mostly true, except he just went too far, and it got to the point where he said, have you no decency? I feel that these accusations against Mark Meadows on the House floor is our have you no decency moment. I really hope so. I hope we start to see this ball rolling where false accusations of racism is the new McCarthyism. Calling white people racist simply because they don't toe the Democrat line is the new McCarthyism. And I would like to coin that. You can thank me for coining this. Instead of the Red Scare, we call it the White Scare, for fear of white people doing whatever violence that they think white people are going to do on behalf of conservatism, KKK, Nazi, whatever they accuse us of. It's all fake. And finally, Mark Meadows has this have you no decency moment. And so much credit to Elijah Cummings, as you saw in that video, for coming to his aid because he is a close personal friend of his. And that's why I think maybe it's a good thing to have friendships with Democrats, especially within Congress and all that, so that you have somebody coming to your aid when you have some freshman, disgusting, vile creature
reading off a pre-written script.
Who obviously should have had it vetted before she read it in front of Congress, which will go in the history books. When you state things on the House floor, the transcript is a part of American history forever. For here, 1,000 years from now, people will probably go to Library of Congress and start to look at old stuff, and we'll see that Mark Meadows, Congressman Mark Meadows, was accused of racist. That's why he was so emotional, because this is a lie leveled at him that years, decades, centuries from now, people could look back at him and ostracize his legacy.
Right, absolutely. And just to kind of put the nail in the coffin on Democrats being socialist, this is a tweet that I just ran across. It was just at random, ran across this tweet by Olivia Cabede Smith, who claims she's a recovered Ohioan.
Okay, what? Where does she live now?
Because she's the Portland Democrat Socialist of America. She's the DSA chapter co-chair. I wanted to set the record straight for a minute, Carrie.
Okay, set the record straight, yeah. Mrs. Olivia.
Yeah, she wants to set it straight for all of us. Communism is good.
What? Communism is good. Okay, you know what I do? If you guys are listening, follow me closely on Twitter. Occasionally, I will respond to a tweet like this with simply citation needed.
Yes. I probably went too much with it. I got a little.
That is pretty funny though. Communism is good. For those that missed it, citation needed. So anyway, that's awesome.
I went at it with, thank you for telling us your agenda and not hiding like years past. Hashtag Friday Reads. So I'm glad they're out in the open. Folks, they're out in the open. It's clear to see that the entire Democrat Party has been 100% hijacked by the communist ideologies, the ones that have been pushing forward for decades and decades. As the Republican Party, the conservative movement veers a sharp right with Donald Trump and the hashtag walk away movement. Again, thank you so much, Brandon. Great friend of the show. Love hanging out with you. It's been an awesome time.
Awesome. And I'll tell you what, we have a great show next week. Don't forget to watch every single one. 5 o'clock if you want to catch it live. I've been noticing, Brian, that our numbers shoot off into the evening, which means people are watching us later, and that's great. Watch the replay every single night and share it everywhere. Anything else, Brian?
No, I think that's all. You guys have an incredible weekend. Spend it with your friends and your family. Enjoy yourself, and see you guys back here on Monday.
See ya.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.